Here. I am going live on multiple channels, so bear with me if I don't come to your question right away. Bear with me, type your question in the chat because I can always come back and give you answers. But today I am addressing my most frequent question, which is how to get rid of the belly fat. For those of you who don't know me, I am Dr. Inaka Yembe. I am a board certified family medicine physician. I work in the emergency room full time, and I have a private practice part time for weight loss. Weight loss is my personal journey as well. At my heaviest, I was about 300 pounds, and I have been able to get that weight down to where I am today. So I've gotten this question so many times. I mean, it just really behooves me to bring you some answers. In fact, April is Belly Fat Challenge month. Listen, do me a favor. If you are struggling with belly fat, my friends on Instagram, on TikTok, if you're struggling with belly fat, put that in the chat. If you have any questions, put that in the chat. I will come back to it as soon as possible. One of the things that I know is that when you know more, you just tend to do a lot better. So let's talk about exactly what belly fat is. Most questions that I get from people are, how do I get rid of this right here? I've got this pouch sitting in the middle and I want to get rid of it. Right off the bat, I want to let you know, and don't lose hope right here. Don't block me, don't quit. But right off the bat, there is no such thing as spot reduction, meaning that you cannot intentionally work to get rid of just the fat that you have around the belly area and nothing else. Spot reduction does not exist, and I'll tell you why. So I have my handy dandy drawing here. I hope you can see it clearly. Everyone, I hope you can see this. This is my drawing of what your belly actually looks like. And this is why no matter how many crunches you struggle to perform, or no matter how many sit-ups, if you don't correct certain things that we'll talk about today, if you don't address those things, then you may not be able to get rid of the belly fat. So this is my drawing here. This is the outside of your body right here. I hope you can see it. This is the outside of your body. This is belly fat. So when we see ourselves on the outside, we are looking at this whole part. In real life, though, your anatomy is made this way. You have the skin, you have subcutaneous fat. So if you can pinch it, that one is immediately under the skin. That's subcutaneous fat right there. These are your ab muscles. So anytime you're doing those crunches, sit-ups, and exercises, you are actually working these muscles right here that sit underneath your subcutaneous fat. And then this part here forms part of the abdominal fat. This one here on the inside is called visceral fat. Everybody needs a little bit of visceral fat because this is what's going to help protect your organs. It's going to help you overall. But of course, too much of everything is not good. This is why the studies definitely give you a measurement. The one measurement that you need to know is your abdominal circumference. I always say measure right at your belly button so you know that you're consistent if you measure right there. For women, this abdominal girth should not be more than 35 inches, and for men, no more than 40. Again, just think about it. Anytime you're doing crunches and all these exercises, you are targeting just these ab wall muscles right here, the brown on the inside. The way to address this visceral fat, which is dangerous, and the studies show this right here on the inside puts you at risk of hypertension, diabetes, heart attacks, and the people who have too much belly fat are at risk of sudden death. So again, keep this in mind while I'm talking to you. We want to know how to get rid of this right here, get healthy, and we want to know, of course, how to get rid of some of this. Bottom line, if you can pinch it, that's visceral fat. That's not the dangerous part. The one that's on the inside, is the part that's dangerous. So I see people all the time, they've got skinny legs and they've got skinny arms and they've got a little pouch here and they're telling me, I'm healthy, I'm not overweight. Listen, you could be at your ideal weight. So long as you have this amount of belly fat measured greater than 35 inches for women, then you have a little bit too much abdominal fat, still puts you at risk. In fact, in my emergency room, I know that most of the patients that I see, about 60% of the patients who come in with heart attack and strokes are not morbidly obese. All right, so let's talk about what causes belly fat. To look at belly fat, there are two main reasons, or several reasons, which we can break down into different things. Number one, your age. If you're a female, once you pass the age of 35, now your body changes on the inside, your estrogen level drops. That drop in estrogen causes redistribution of your body fat. You start to accumulate that little pouch here, and then you start to lose some more muscle mass. So age is one thing. The second one is your lifestyle. The sedentary lifestyle. Short studies also show those of you who have a sedentary lifestyle, who just sit here on the couch, not doing much all day long, do have increased belly fat storage. So while I'm telling you the causes of increased belly fat storage, also keep in mind we will address these causes in order to tackle that belly fat. You can do all is not lost. I want you to just take a few minutes here, a few seconds, and like this video, share it, and also tag your friends. Everyone, my goal really is to share as much information that I can to help people get healthy and stay healthy. So if you haven't done so yet, follow me. If you haven't done so yet, tag a friend and leave me a comment. Questions are always welcome. We've talked about that age, especially premenopausal, and actually premenopause for women starts at the age of 35, in case you didn't know that. And then the next thing we talked about is your lifestyle. And of course, we're going to talk about the hormones. Not only do the female hormones play a part, several other hormones play a part. Second hormone I'll talk about is insulin. Insulin is a hormone that helps us with our metabolism. You eat something that has carbohydrate, insulin levels come up and they help to break down those carbohydrates. Of course, the problem is always too much of everything, and the kind and the quality of carbohydrates that you're eating. Does that make sense so far? So what really affects our insulin level is the refined carbohydrates. I had this discussion in my boot camp the other day. I asked people, what is the meaning of refined carbohydrates? And why is it really so dangerous? Most people said, well, they take the raw material, the raw food like corn, and break it down and make it into chips. And okay, well, really, what is the problem? There are three things when you think about refined carbohydrates. So let's say we have the corn, processing it, yes, taking out all the good stuff, the shell, the fiber, and everything. That's one part of processing. The other part of processing that's so dangerous, especially for this belly fat, is what the manufacturers add to the food now. So now you're looking at two different things. What they've taken out, the fiber, the vitamins, and all the good stuff, what they are. The cheapest form of sugar that the manufacturers use, especially in America, is high fructose corn syrup. So high fructose corn syrup and all the processed foods are dangerous because they get into your bloodstream quickly, make your insulin levels go up quickly. That's why we talk about the spike in insulin. When that level goes up, now the inside of your belly is turned into a fat storage environment, because that's what insulin does. Here you go, belly fat is now increasing. This is why, let's make it a little bit practical here for you. This is why calories are not equal. You may be eating very little, and you're telling yourself, yeah, I'm not eating too much, but you may be eating low quality carbohydrates like French fries, vegetable chips. Those kind of things are overly processed. So even if it's in that nice 100 calories sachet, it's not the same as eating just the fresh corn, which is more healthy for you. that part of the processed one, the processed corn chips or whatever they are, they spike your blood sugar too fast. And that's where the danger is. Another thing that I've seen now is the things that are labeled sugar free things. So okay, so now the manufacturer is allowed to put on the packaging sugar free, but you didn't see all the other kinds of sugar. Did you know that there are about 76 ways that the manufacturers can label sugar on a package? So we want to be careful. All these things make your insulin levels spike, make you store fat overall, and especially body fat. Still talking about hormones, one other big hormone that applies to everyone. This hormone has receptors everywhere in your brain, blood vessels, in your organs, really everywhere. And this is the actual stress hormone called cortisol. Okay, if I'm sitting here and bam, gunfire, I'm thinking, whoa, goodness, I run. Okay, that is a normal fight or flight response. Our bodies are always made to defend themselves. But what I'm talking about is chronic elevations in cortisol level. Cortisol is actually a belly fat storage hormone. It will slow down your metabolism because you need all this energy now to fight. So that's what cortisol does for you. What are the things that cause our cortisol level? When we talk about cortisol being a stress hormone, we're only really thinking about mental stress. Okay, life is hard, things are this. Yes, we need to address that kind of stress. We need to learn to relax. We need to learn some relaxation techniques. We need to learn to do things like yoga and meditation, and that's fine. How about other kinds of stress? One of the biggest kinds of stresses that pertains to people like me and you who have been trying to be healthy for a long time is just over exercising. Now, when you put your body through just so much stress, so much stress, your body is just trying to counteract everything. And one of the things that will stay up is that cortisol level. So you may see somebody who's nice and fit, but they still have this nice little pouch here. Too much stress. All right. Another thing that really affects the amount of belly fat that you have is sleep. Not sleeping enough, especially if you're chronically sleeping less than 6 hours every single day, you have a disruption in your hunger hormones. Number one, that hormone called ghrelin. Ghrelin, growl, it is balanced while you are sleeping. And if you don't sleep enough, you have too much ghrelin, meaning you'll be growling all day long, hungry, and have a higher risk of just eating junk food. So studies recommend that you sleep for at least 7 to 9 hours most days. Nothing is ever perfect. In my weight loss journey and in my life, I have learned that I never look for anything at 100%. It's not realistic. So I just shoot for about 80% accuracy, and you will be just fine. But try to increase your sleeping habits. Now there's lots of YouTube videos on what to do to sleep and have a restful night. But we are talking about belly fat here. So we've talked about age, and we've talked about hormones. We've talked about lifestyle. I've given you some information about what you are eating, and we've talked about stress and sleep. But let's really make things very practical. I want to bring to you some foods that you need to stay away from. Number one, of course, you know this, but it does not hurt to get that little reminder. Number one, sodas. Sodas are packed full of sugar. They're no good, no good, no good. It is not recommended that you have more than 24 grams of added sugar for women and no more than 30. Is it 30 or 32? The number is right there for men. That is added sugars. So avoid sodas and juices. And I get the question, can I drink homemade juice? Let me make it a little practical for you. Number one, if you had to make a glass of orange juice, you probably need about 6, 7 oranges. So that's quite a bit of sugar. It's the same thing. You want to lose that belly fat, stay away from all juices, store-bought and homemade. Eat the whole fruit, 1 orange, 1 apple. It is better for you. Go with the whole foods. Number two food that you need to avoid, and do not kill the messenger. I'm going to get a lot of feedback with this one. Listen, if you are enjoying this video so far, please go ahead and hit that like button. Share this with your friends and come back next Thursday. I'm going to try to be here every single Thursday. But anyway, number two is alcohol. Okay, let's stop here for just a second. I knew I'm going to get a whole lot of feedback when I talk about alcohol. Alcohol has several different problems, especially the cocktails, especially the ones that are nice and sugary, especially the ones that are made with juice. Of course, it has so many issues. One of the things we don't realize is not only is alcohol empty calories, so just sugar, what alcohol does is it slows down our metabolism. Okay, so if you're the person to drink 3, 4 drinks a day, you really want to curb that habit or cut it out as much as possible. And when I say that cut it out at 100%, this may not be possible and maybe not even realistic. So what I recommend is that you say, okay, I love to drink alcohol, especially date night with the husband, especially date night with the girlfriends, things like that. Make it 1 day a week and make it just one time a week. Especially remember, you're trying to get rid of belly fat. Alcohol is toxic to your liver if you consume it too much. And remember, because you have got this belly fat sitting here, it is around your liver, chances are you may have a fatty liver as well, even if you're not diagnosed yet. So when you drink the alcohol, especially every single day, you're doing nothing but increasing belly fat, causing liver damage. Liver damage, if it's damaged enough, causes kidney damage, heart damage, just all kinds of problems, and then not reversible. The liver is a transplant organ because it cannot heal itself. So we don't need to be damaging it every day. All right, we're still talking about belly fat here. The next thing you want to avoid is fried foods. These are loaded in trans fats. You don't want these in your body. That's why the person who made the air fryer, great invention. Use it, use your oven, use things, but avoid deep frying, especially avoid the fast foods which are loaded in salt and which are deep fried and not good for you. Next thing I'll talk about is a nice little subtle one. This one is a hot togger for me because it also pertains to me. I tend to slide down this road sometimes. It's the diet sodas. All right, so when you're drinking diet sodas, you're taking in that carbonation. It also makes you hungry. That's one thing. Second thing is that although it's not calorie heavy, so you've got, of course, fewer calories in a diet soda compared to a regular soda. That's true. So the problem may not be the diet soda as per se. What the studies now show is that people who tend to go for the diet sodas have a lower ability to address their eating habits or to correct their eating habits. So we want to try to also tone down those diet sodas. Don't drink it every day. Like I said, nothing can be 100% accurate. So save the diet soda for, I don't know, Sunday, you can come out of church or those kind of things. Anyway, cut it down. Not every day, not every day. This next one is so individual, but you want to also pay attention to it. Some of us, as we get older, we just become lactose intolerant along the way. This is why, if you notice that you've got the little belly bulge coming on, you've got the stomach discomfort and things like that when you drink milk, you want to try to avoid or eliminate milk and dairy products, cheese and things like that from your diet altogether and see how your belly behaves. If the belly looks better and less bloated, less painful, less cramping, then you know you may be lactose intolerant. This is where things like the almond milk, coconut milk come into play to help you. All right. The other thing though is ice cream. Ice cream is a different kind of monster. Ice cream, that one has been shown in some studies that I have read to increase your cravings for things. So I do see these keto ice creams and things like that, but because of the pleasurable stimulus that you have in your brain after you eat it, some people, I'm not saying everyone, some people may have increased cravings after they consume ice cream. If that's you, you want to avoid it because it will help you to reduce that belly fat right here. All right, we're talking about food. Next one is mayonnaise. Mayo. Did you know that mayonnaise is about 80% fat? Mayo is about 80% fat. So that's one of the things that you may want to consider toning down. If you're consuming mayo every day, just 1 tablespoon of mayo is about 100 calories. So yeah, I know they have sugar-free mayo. That's true. It doesn't have any sugar, but you just want to know that that mayonnaise alone has about 80% fat and 100 calories per tablespoon. Do you need it? I don't know. So it all depends on your entire lifestyle. Everybody is different. This is why in my boot camp, I don't have a strict diet for everybody to follow that strict diet. Doesn't work that way. What I do is give you information that you can use and apply to yourself. My biggest boot camper, biggest loser on boot camp. If you are on here, listen. Power to you, Miss Cindy. She lost 36 pounds since October. So that's 5 months, 36 pounds down. She is doing great. All right. The next thing I'll talk about is chewing gum. A lot of us, including myself, I'm guilty of most of these things. I'm telling you things that I've done, and I'm guilty. So chewing gum once in a while is okay, but chewing gum every day, every single day, may increase the amount of stomach acid, may increase the amount of hunger that you have, and you just tend to feel hungry. So generally, these are the things, the foods that you want to avoid. That's bad news. Let's talk about the good stuff. Let's talk about the good stuff. What's the good stuff? What should I be eating then? Now that you've told me all these things about hormones, lifestyle, all these things, what do I need to be eating? All right. Number one, for me personally, is the green leafy vegetables. There are two things though that I put right there at my number one. One of them is proteins, because if you want to lose weight, you really want to increase that protein content in your diet. Studies show that people who consume very low protein, and I made that mistake. I was on a low carb diet. Ditch the diet mentality. It's not sustainable lifelong. Very hard to sustain lifelong. And furthermore, if you are on a low protein diet, not eating enough protein, then your metabolism may be dialed down, especially if you're a female above the age of 35. Your metabolism may be low because you're losing muscle, estrogen level is dropping. So you get to where you're consuming very few calories and your weight is going nowhere. Your weight says, no, I'm done. I can't go anywhere. Your body will always find a balance. The way to get out of that mode, start losing weight, and of course, start losing the belly fat, is to do one thing: increase your protein consumption. Eat good quality protein, meat in moderation, not too much meat, more of the white meats, chicken, fish, things like that, and make it at least 35 to 40 grams of protein per meal. And I say that assuming you are eating 3 meals per day. So for me personally, I like to keep my protein consumption at about 140, 150 grams per day. Yes, I use protein supplements. Okay, so that's just me. Sometimes I can't just eat so much chicken every day. Okay, the next part of that is the green leafy vegetables, like I said. Those really help you with your bowel health because they have such a slow transit through your bowel, right? They are carbohydrates. Their transit is slow. They help decrease that belly fat that you have. That's one thing. They don't spike your insulin level. So when you consume them, they are not increasing your insulin level, and you are not storing belly fat or body fat for that matter. And they also help with your gut health and keep your bowels regular. So vegetables, for me, have gotten to a point where they are not negotiable. Everybody needs to consume at least 2.5 to 3 cups of vegetables per day. Now, we talked about the fats in fried foods, which are not healthy, those trans fats that they use in the fast food places to fry the foods that we eat. All right, so everybody needs some fat. Hormones are those signals in our body, those are those messengers in our body. Most of the hormones that we have in our bodies, they have a basic structure of fat, of cholesterol. So you need to consume some healthy fats in order to stay healthy and to have that internal balance. So where do we find these foods? Nuts are healthy. Things like avocado, those are healthy, coconut oil, and things like that. Those are good fats. Most of the nuts are good fats. You want to be careful though with nuts. They are high in calorie, everything consumed according to the portion size. Now, the next one, of course, after protein is whole grains. Okay, so eat the grains whole. Brown rice as opposed to white rice. There's nothing wrong with rice. I just want to eat it brown because that tells me it is whole and less processed. So whole grains. There are a lot of other foods that are healthy. Basically, if you want to balance your hormones, just go with whole foods that are unprocessed. Or if you're like me, I'm going for the frozen. Frozen is okay, even though it is lightly processed, and that's fine. One last thing we haven't talked about is aging. Of course, I'm 54. I have no control over that. Next year, I will be 55. The aging will continue. You cannot control that. But it is so important that you remember the one thing that you must change, and I see this mistake every single day, is that we forget to change our portion sizes as we get older. Remember, women, your estrogen levels are dropping. That's one thing. You're losing muscle mass because those estrogen levels are dropping, and you're not as active. You're not running around playing softball. You're not running to the mall with all your friends. So we don't need that much energy. One of the biggest things you can do for yourself today, promise me you're going to cut down on those portion sizes. It doesn't matter if you go work out in the gym. It doesn't matter if you're working out at home. But the fact is, you are not using as much energy as you did when you were much younger. So please, though you cannot change your age, you must, with time, cut down on those portion sizes. All right. I hope this information has helped you, give you at least one or two things that you can adopt and start today to try to get rid of this belly fat. I am setting a challenge on August, not August, why did I say August? On April the 4th, Monday. The link is in my bio everywhere on TikTok, on Instagram. I will put a link up on Facebook. It's on there. Register. I'm so big on sharing all that I know that helped me lose so much weight, 121 pounds. Now, it took me a long time, okay? That's the last thing I'll tell you today. Make sure your expectations are realistic. I mean, I started working out in 2010. That's when I started really struggling with my weight. It's taken me a long time, but everything that I learned has now become a habit. So, yes, my weight still is up and down like everybody else's, but overall, I am able to keep the weight off without thinking diet, without depriving myself, and things like that. That's why I started the boot camp, to help you or to show you the things that I do that help me keep the weight off long term. All right, that's it. I will try to bring you a video every single Thursday. That said, I will be back on I try to get here on Saturday with you to do some workouts that help those of us women in menopause and perimenopause lose weight, keep it off, and do the things that are sustainable long term. All right, everyone, please type your questions in the chat. I have all this social media up and running, so I don't even know. I hope I close you down correctly. But ask me questions, share this video, and let's keep talking. My goal is to help as many people as possible, not to make the same mistakes that I did. All right. Thank you, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye. Now, let's see if I can shut this down correctly. I'll tell you what, I don't, let's see. Ah, let's see if I can do this correctly. Let's see here.